Let's start with the CSAT paper 2 solution. So let's begin with the very first question. The first question talks about the human development, the main threat to the progress of human development. It focuses on unsustainability, and that's because of relying mostly on the fossil fuels. Now it clearly says that our resources are finite. We are relying heavily on the fossil fuels. Now these two sections itself are the answer to the question here. Unsustainability in production pattern is due to heavy dependence on the fossil fuels, and then we have the finite resources, that is limited availability of resources. So 1 and 2 are the right options here. Then there is another question for the same paragraph, and that says you have to go through these 3 lines here, which is important. Some developed countries have begun to elevate the worst effects by either expanding the recycling or investing in public transport. However, what is important to note is in the developing countries, the main thing is hampered by the cost and low availability of clean resources. So the question says the developed countries can support the developing countries with what? They can support it by making clean energies available at low cost, because the only problem that the developing nations are facing is what? As we can see in the paragraph, it is high cost and low availability of clean resources. So both of these indicate only things related to clean resources. Public transport and infrastructure has been done in developed nations. Nothing has been mentioned for the developing nations. So 2 might look closer to the answer, but it's actually not the correct answer here. So 1 only would be the right answer here. Clear? Because for the developing countries, their only concern is high cost and low availability of clean resources. So if the clean resources are available at low cost, then that would be the perfect solution for their problem. The next is, this paragraph talks about the problems of the environment in the near future and afforestation of the areas which have been denuded. Now, climate conditions, soil erosion by wind and water would increase to such an extent that agriculture would gradually become impossible. So 2 main concerns being addressed here is the soil erosion and soil erosion by wind and water. So depletion of the soil erosion and lack of water for cultivation. So 1 and 3 would be the right option. These 2 are the most important thing, the crux of the passage that has been mentioned here. The next question is a very simple question. This is into 0.5 into 1 into 1.5 into 2 into 2.5 multiplied by, so 75 multiplied by 3, which is 225. So 225 becomes the right option here. The next question is a really interesting question and a little challenging question. So understand this question carefully. The terms are A, B, C, D, E and F. Okay. Now it says that after deleting the 2 digits from the right of the original number, the number is divisible by 5. So I remove these 2 digits, my number is divisible by, sorry, it is E, F, G. I'll write the number again. So it is A, B, C, D, E, F and G. I delete the 2 digits from the right, the 5th digit is divisible by, so the remaining number is divisible by 5. That means E has to be 5 from these numbers. The only number that can lead to divisibility for 5 is E being 5. So I know E is 5. Now the question is the sum of the middle 3 digits is what? Okay. So sum of the middle 3 digits, that means C, D and E. From that E I know is 5. So I subtract 5 from all these numbers. Okay, that's what I do for a hit and trial method. So what are the numbers I get? 7, 6, 4 and 3. Now my second important statement is, after deleting 4 of the digits, after deleting 3 of the digits, that is these 3 digits, the resulting number, that is this number, would have a divisibility test of 4. What does that mean? Divisibility test of 4 means last 2 digits have to be, their sum has to be 4. So what could be the possible numbers in this case? The remaining 2, the sum of these 2 numbers, that is C and D, is 3. Okay. So what could be the numbers that could turn out to be 4? I can have 12 here. For 4, I cannot have any number, 2 numbers who would be divisible by 4. Okay, so this cannot be the answer. Then here again I have a possible number which is 24. Here again I have a possible number which is 52, right? So 3 possibilities. So that means these numbers could be 125, it could be 245 and 525. But 525 cannot be the option because I cannot repeat the number. So again D choice is gone. Now 2 choices left. Okay. Now I'll have to go further. I would have 2 blanks here and 2 blanks here in each of the cases. Okay. Now read. After deleting 4 digits from the right, that is after deleting all these digits, this resulting number is divisible by 3. So this number has to be divisible by 3 and this number has to be divisible by 3. Clear? And it also says that after deleting the first digit from the right, the remaining number is divisible by 6. That means if I remove the last digit, that is this and this, the remaining number is divisible by 3. That means this number has to be divisible by 3 and this number has to be divisible by 3. Again, from this I know that the last 3 numbers are divisible by 3. Okay, so that's given. If I am deleting 4 digits, the 3 numbers are divisible by 3. That means all these 3 numbers are divisible by 3. Okay, so that means the remaining 3 numbers have to be also divisible by 3. So what could be the possible solutions? I have this number and this number. I have to fit in such a number so that this number is divisible by 3, right? So which of the 2 choices can be there? I am stuck with this choice and this choice. Clear? Now understand carefully. What could be the number that I can put? Note that when I have the 6 digit, it is saying that the number has to be divisible by 6. Okay, that means this number has to be an even number. What could be the possible even numbers that remain from this set? The only possible even numbers that remain for the first choice is 4 and 8. Okay, so I can substitute 4 and 8 here, and in the last one I can substitute 8. If I substitute 8 here, this does not give me a number which is divisible by 3. So this cannot be the option. Now let me put 4 or 8 here. So when I put 2 plus 5 plus 4, that gives me 11. That's not divisible by 3. But when I put 2 plus 5 plus 8, which is 15, this is divisible by 3. So this number gives me a divisibility test of 3 and runs true. Why I took this number? Because it says that the last 6 number, if I remove the last digit, the number is divisible by 6. If the number is this whole number from A to F is divisible by 6, that means F has to be even in some case. And then what could be the possible numbers that could be kept here? The only 2 possible numbers to make it even could be 4 and 8. Now since the only 2 possible numbers can be 4 and 8, I cannot have 4 here, but I can have definitely 8 here. And since I have 8 here, this 3 digits, that is 2, 5 and 8 would give me a divisibility test of 3. And again with the first 3 digits I have the divisibility test of 3. So all this would go with the divisibility test of 3. So that means 1, 2 would be the right option. So A becomes the right option. So my middle 3 numbers would be 125. Clear? And that's how we have solved this question. This was a really tricky problem, an important problem. Have a little logic, and if you find it difficult, just pause this video, go back to the starting of this section and revisit this explanation that we have done. Still, if you have problem, please feel free to post those in the comment section. The next is 2 friends start. So X and Y start running. So this is X, this is Y. X reaches a point, turns right. So X would run 60, and then X reaches the point and runs left. So this is right, this is left. So X would run 50 here. Clear? Now Y takes a turn and takes a turn left and runs 40. So Y would run here 40, and then Y would turn right to 50. Okay. So that is 50. So what is the gap? The gap here is 60 plus 40, which is 100. So 100 is the right option here. The next question. Now this is a direct question from the remainder problem. We have covered this in our CSAT lecture series on doorstep. You can refer the remainder problem there. Also a similar question was asked last year where we have discussed the remainder problem in detail. Just apply that, you would have 7 would be the right answer, which is Sunday. Okay. Now, very important question. A bill has rupees 1840. Okay, these are the various denominations. 50 notes are used in all. If I use 25 notes of 50, that gives me from 1840, I subtract 25 into 20, that gives me 590. Now how many notes remain? 25 notes. With remaining 25 notes, if I spend all 20 also, I cannot reach this figure. So this is an incorrect choice. Now 1840 minus 35 into 20, that gives me a remainder of 1140. If I spend all 50 notes with the remaining 15 notes, again this cannot be reached, so this is incorrect. 20 notes of 10. Okay, so 1840 minus 20 into 10, that gives me 1640. Now even if I spend the remaining 30 notes of 100, okay, and that gives me only 1500. So this again cannot be a possible option. So all of these three are not correct. So 1, 2 and 3 are not correct. What could be the only option? That would be 50 into 30, 20 into 14 plus 10 into 6. So that would be the only correct option for this problem to be solved. The next question is, which is the smallest number? Very interesting problem. So it is 2 raised to 40. I convert it to the base 2, so it becomes 2 raised to power 36. And this becomes 2 raised to power into 3. So that is this is 36 and into 2. Okay, so this is again 36. So 2 raised to 36 and 2 raised to 36. Now this is odd one out, so this cannot be smallest for sure. Now we have to find out whether 2 raised to 36 is small or 3 raised to 21 is small. Even by simple logic, we can say both of them have 2 raised to 36. So two of them cannot be the smallest. So obviously this would be smallest. But let's do another logic. I take cube root of the powers. Okay, so this becomes 2 raised to 12 and this becomes 2 raised to 7. Cube root of that is divided by 3 and divided by 3, that's 1/3. That's the cube root of the power. So you have 2 raised to 12 and 2 raised to 7, that is 4096 is greater than 2187. Therefore this number is the smallest number. So 3 raised to 21 would be the smallest number from the given choices. The next is a very interesting problem. I have to arrange the numbers such that the 3 numbers in 3 rows are there, such that each next row is a double of the first row. So let's say my first row here is 327, my next row is 654, and the last row here is 981. Okay, so it's multiple into 2 and this is into 3, right? And all of these are different numbers. So this gives me a perfect answer. So one combination is definitely there. Let me try another combination. I tried another combination and this was 237, 474 and 701. This was another combination that I found, but here there is repetition. So this cannot be a possible combination. So only one possible combination does exist, where all of the numbers are different and the next row is actually twice and the third row is thrice the first row. Now note, in the starting of the first row, the number could be small. 7 I cannot use in the beginning. Okay, any big numbers I cannot use because I have to double and thrice it. So practically it's not possible. So start beginning the problem only with 2 and 3, and that's the only way you can solve. So 2 combinations that we start with, and one of that comes out to be the right answer. The next question is a very simple idea. What reflects the democracy? It simply says that everyone can who knows how to get the vote can administer a state, and that's how when we say we are actually serving for the politics, but however for other purpose we require a trained physician, right? So this statement best reflects that we assume in a democracy any politician is qualified to administer the state, and that's the basic assumption, that anyone who knows how to get the vote knows how to administer. So A would be the right option here. The next question is on poverty, and it talks about the debatable methodology to count the poverty. Okay, and it says that it exclusively relies on the notion of poverty as an insufficient income or insufficient purchasing power. So the first question here says that it is based on the proposition that poverty is a meager income or the buying capacity. So that's one of the most debatable topics as from the second line of the passage itself. Now note, in the remaining lines it has been focused on income poverty as one of the major aspects, and it says that there is lack of real opportunities given by social constraints and personal circumstances, but it's mainly the idea of choice. Restricting the choices of the people have led to varied and valued lives. Okay, so it's basically the idea where we are focusing on restricted choices. So why income poverty is only one measure of counting the poor? Because it talks about only one kind of deprivation, ignoring all other deprivations. That's the correct option here. And in the next question again, it talks about material as well as non-material deprivations in human life which restrict the choices permanently. So as we said, it focuses on the choice, and the poverty of life here focuses on restricting the human choices. So D becomes the right option for this question. The next question is a question on race problem. Now here it's very simple. I have 300 meters and 3 kilometers. So how many rounds I have to take? 10 rounds. That's the first thing. Now the speed is 3 and 2. So 3x and 2x are the speed. So time taken in the first case to complete would be 3 kilometers divided by 3x. So my time is 1 by x. The relative speed is how much? 3x minus 2x, that is x. Okay, so I multiply it by x, that is 1 kilometer. Now to complete this 1 kilometer, how many rounds would be required? With one round, I meet at 300 meters. With second round, I meet at 600. With the third round, I meet at 900. So how many times would one pass the other? Is 1, 2 and 3. So 3 is my right option here. Clear? The next question, okay, very simple question. I write A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y and Z. Now I write the letters opposite. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O. Okay, so I just write here till here and you will have the answer. So for Lucknow, L becomes O. Okay, so all the choices are O. Now LU, U becomes F. Okay, so after O it has to be F, and the last letter is W, which becomes D. So D. So last letter is D. Okay, so these two choices gone, and the second letter is F. So first choice also gone. So D is the right choice. You need not to solve all of these and you are done with the answer. Now here the problem is very simple. 150 total people are there. So in the first round I would have 75 matches. In the second round there would be 37, half of it, but one person left extra. In the third round it would be 19. In the fourth round it would be half of 19, which is 10. Sorry, not 10. 10 would give me 20. So 9 plus 1. Okay, so one person extra. 9 rounds finished with 18 person and one person extra. Now why I am writing so? Because there is no tie or draw. So 75 matches played, one lost, one win. Now the remaining 75 people would play again. So 37 matches, one would win. Other 37 gone, but one person remains extra. So from this 38 you would have 19 matches. From this 19 you would have 9 persons who would win, but one would be left. Then you would have 10 people, so 5 matches. Then in the next condition you would have two persons who win and one match. From this 2 persons there would be one person who would win and one person extra. So again in the last step there would be one person. Now I count all these numbers. 75, so it would be 75 plus 37 plus 19 plus 9 plus 5 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. Okay, so plus 1. Okay, so that would give me the last values. Okay, so that would give me 149. Okay, so 1 and the last one, right? So these values I would calculate and I would have 149 as the final answer here. The next is how many 3-digit natural numbers can be written without repetition. So 1, 3, 5, 7 and 9 would be the numbers. I want to have 5 towards the end, so I can have 1, 3, 3, 1. Okay, then I can have 1, 7, 7, 1. I can have 9, 1, 9, 9, 1. Okay, with these are with 1. Now with 3 I can have 3, 7, 7, 3, 3, 9 and 9 3, and then with 7 I can have 7 9 and 9 7. I count all of this gives me 12 numbers. Okay, so all of the last digits would definitely be 5, obviously, so I have not written that. The simple logic is you have to have 3-digit number such that the number is divisible by 3 and all of the numbers are odd and they are different digits. Okay, the next question, if x is an integer, the question is x an integer? X by 3 is not an integer. Okay, so 2 by 3 is not an integer, but 2 is an integer, so this statement comes out to be true here. But in the second case I say the same thing, because it is if I consider this as 2 by 3, x is 2 by 3, then this number is an integer because 3 into 2 by 3 is an integer, but here x does not become an integer. Okay, so this does not comes out to be true. So if I take x as 2 by 3, okay, so independently both of these statements cannot suffice it. Now let me say that x is 2 by 3. If x is 2 by 3, it's a fraction, so statement 1 comes true, but statement 2 statement 1 comes out is not an integer, comes out true. 3x into 3 comes out to be true. Okay, but I take another case where I take x is 2. Now here x by 2 by 3 and 3 into 2. Okay, so this is not an integer, comes out to be true, but here it is 2 by 3 into 1 by 3. Okay, so and here it is 2 by 3 into 3, so this becomes an integer. So I'll have to have all different values and see whether is there any number with which this combination cannot be attained, and based on that I would see whether this condition can be sufficed or it cannot be sufficed. So a very interesting problem. You have to find out individually whether this is sufficient or not, and together whether it is sufficient or not. Now the last question is pretty simple. What we need to understand, the price increases, so let the initial price be 100, increases 25 times, so 125. Now decreases 20 times, so 20% of it is how much? 250 divided by 100, which is 25. So 125 minus 25 gives me 100. So I am back on 100. Now I increase the price from 100 to 10%, which is 110. So what is the increase? My increase is 10%. So 10% becomes the right answer here. Okay. So those were some of the questions that we have solved. We'll focus on the remaining questions in the next set. Have a wonderful day ahead.